Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So what happens whether it's beautiful or it's not beautiful, what happens when you move from your home to what some people call a facility? I don't like to call them facility. There really are homes that are different now. You're in a home where there are a lot of other residents, and I know some people are afraid because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if they have any more control or people are going to like them. So companies like Regents, Boca, Raton are very careful about their employees. They make sure that these employees are going to care about the residents, especially the new residents. So let's start with Noah Zisquit, who is the Director of Resident Services. Welcome to our show, Noah.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
So as you have a big responsibility as a resident service director, because you're after they check somebody in, you're probably the person when they move in that either makes it or breaks it for them. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. First impressions count for everything. And I really try to catch the residents shortly after they arrive, just to get them right away, make them feel comfortable in their environment, go through any questions they may have, give them an orientation, and make sure they're comfortable from the start.
Do they come with their family members? If they have family members, I think they would probably be as concerned as the resident.
Absolutely. The family members often have just as many, if not more, questions than the family members. And that's what I'm there for, to assist them, answer any questions they have. You know, oftentimes the family members will tour in advance, take a look at our facility, and I'm the one coming out most of the time to give them a tour and to really preempt any questions they may have during their stay.
It's interesting that you should be here talking with me because I just had a recent radio interview with a company. It's called Minto, and it's a big, beautiful, I think there's 20,000 acres. It's a huge place out in Sun City. And even though these people who are buying in there, they are very self-sufficient, they're very independent, they have the same questions, though, because when you move from another place that you're familiar with, you get scared. I mean, I think even my friends who go from condo to condo, I mean, they're afraid. Everybody has a little fear. But as you age, as you know, and as a gerontologist, I really understand this, as you age, you're not able to take care of things that you could before. So you really are relying on someone like you. So if they say, well, I don't like this, or I don't want this, or what you can do, I know a lot of your staff members at Regents Park, and they're the yes people. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I don't hear no's from them. And are you like that?
Absolutely. I tell people that I'll do whatever I can to help them. And should they have a question that I don't know the answer to, that I'll find someone who does. When residents come into the building, we have in each and every room a welcome packet, which goes over some basic information. This way they'll have a chance to read it over on their own in their free time. But in addition to that, I'll come in the room or another staff member, and we'll go over everything with them, educating them from the beginning towards the rest. I mean, we'll start with their room number, the nurse's station, the unit they're on.
That's funny, you just say the room number. I mean, it's right. They have to learn a whole new address.
Absolutely. It's a totally new environment. It can be very scary and overwhelming. But the more they know and the more they know what to expect, then the more comfortable people tend to feel.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And having a buddy, that's what you're kind of like, the buddy right now. They know you. So let's say they're there for a week and all of a sudden something isn't what they thought they wanted to have, and they call you and they say, Noah, come, I have something I need to talk to you about. Do you go? Of course you go.
Of course. I mean, sometimes I'm getting, called in several places at once. I'm being paged. I have a phone call. People have needs, and I'm happy to say that Regents Boca has this program where we have a full-time director of resident services, in addition to other volunteers and a wonderful staff. And we can really go to people and listen to their needs, listen to their issues, their concerns, and try to help them the best way we can.
And for those of you who've just tuned in, my guest, I'm ANITA FINLEY, and you're listening to Noah Zisquit, who's Director of Resident Services at Regents Park of Boca Raton. Now, we've had some fantastic interviews with a lot of the staff at Regents Park, whether it's Leslie Curtis or, so many of the other people who really do seem all to care. I think you're all drinking the same whatever Kool-Aid because you're all kind of so in love with what you do. And I've said, if you're not in love with taking care of older adults, get out of the business because it's not easy. You're dealing with people who've now lost some of the independence that they're used to, and I'm sure one of the things that I know it comes from as people move into a place like that. What about my car? What are you going to do with my car? Which, of course, they're not going to drive anymore, but that's, how touchy that is.
Oh, yeah.
You have a place for their car, right? And they can sit it there.
Of course. We have 2 parking lots. They're welcome to leave their car. Residents or family members, if they want to leave a car in our lot, that's fine. I should mention we do have valet parking as well.
I know you do. It's great. No, it's true. And that means so much, especially there are some people who are with walkers. And imagine places that don't have valet and there's no parking. I just went to a community in Fort Lauderdale, no parking. And I don't have a wheelchair myself or a walker. I had to park all the way in the back. It was a hot day, and I had to walk to the front. I had some magazines with me. And I said to myself, and they don't have valet parking. And I said to myself, how does that work?
Yeah, it's not easy. Another thing I should say that we have in our facility is that we are only on 1 story. Everything is 1 level. There's no elevators, which for people like myself who are always afraid of getting stuck in an elevator, that really takes a lot of the edge off knowing that everything is on 1 level.
Well, no, it's more than that. I mean, you have electricity going out or something. The 1 level makes it more like their own home. I mean, that's one thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. Very few residential communities are only 1 story because you're a large. See, you're a large campus, so you stretch out. I don't even know how many acres you are. Do you know that? I'm not
10
sure.
acres of land.
I mean, it's large, and Boca Raton, of all places,
oh, yes.
right near the town center. I know that the owners bought this a long time ago, and I'm so glad you're doing this because a lot of people really didn't know about Regents Park of Boca Raton until probably a couple of years ago when we really started doing some of this promotion. I didn't, frankly, and I know everything about the Boca Raton, but I'm glad that you're here now doing this, but it's so much more than bricks and mortar, Noah. We know that. It's important for people to feel good about where they live. Every time I go to Regents Park, there are programs. I'm watching. People are singing. People are playing. Well, of course, bingo. But even though we make light of bingo, I like bingo. I mean, it does really. There's a lot of therapy in bingo. I'm sure you know that. They have to look at the number. They have to listen to the number. And then people do win. And that's fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of therapy, I tell people that the grounds alone can be very therapeutic. I mean, if you just go out there and you see our gardens, the lake surrounding the building, the waterfalls that we have, the jazz music playing outside, even just sitting, if you have a nice weather outside on a nice day and you just come outside for a little bit, get some sun, that itself can be so therapeutic.
And what you forgot, really, were the birds.
Oh, you can't forget the birds.
Birds out there. Yeah, but there are birds inside too, but I know
Sure.
the birds are there. They like your community as well as the residents because that it's a distraction for the day. People are thinking, they're worrying, but if they see that, it does get rid of that. And that's what we have to do. You're there to make that resident have the happiest life that they can have until the very end. And that's what we all want to do.
Absolutely. And it really is an incredible feature having a director of resident services in your building, just to have someone to listen to you. People are very busy in healthcare in general, whether it's in a hospital, a nursing facility, an assisted living facility. Everybody has a job to do, and everybody's running around. To have somebody there who will sit and listen to your personal issue, to whatever you need, and actually have that addressed is amazing.
Well, I call you almost now thinking about it. You're almost like a concierge.
You can say so.
When it really is, because let's say a package is delivered. And you probably saw Mrs. Jones or something. You said, did you pick up the package? Or, you make sure that everything is going well. It's not the medical aspect, it's the social and environmental aspect.
Absolutely. And, if I see a package in front, why wait for the resident to come up or find the time to get it? We'll just deliver it. It expedites everything.
It's an attitude, Noah. You either have it or you don't have it. And I know that the people who do the hiring there are really first class. Because as I said, I know your, I know your administrator, Zilda.
Zilda, of course.
Right? She's such a doll, and so many your rehab people, and I know that you've increased your rehab center because you really care. It's one thing and you know this, years ago, it's not today, but maybe 20, 25 years ago, people were really like warehoused in there. They were being protected, but they didn't have much of a life. And now, places like Regents Park or Boca Raton, they have a life. They don't want to go. I'm sure that sometimes the family members say, you want to come and live with me? Well, that's not good for the family. It's not good for the person. They just sit in a chair all day. Not good. So the Regents Park and the food, we haven't even covered the food.
The food is great. I love the food. My wife is a great cook. I don't know if she's listening now, but she's a great cook. Nevertheless, I do eat lunch, sometimes breakfast, and sometimes dinner, depending on how late I'm working at Regents Park. So I can definitely vouch for their food.
And I think that they have kosher. Is all the food kosher?
All the food coming out of the kitchen is glatt kosher. However, you can bring food to the facility if it's, let's say, in your room. Every room is equipped with a refrigerator, and that doesn't have to be kosher. Please bring in the food of your preference.
But kosher food usually tastes better. I know that, and and it's wonderful whether it's done for a religious point of view or not. It tastes better because it's clean and it's fresh and all. Mm-hmm. So
I should add though that there is a variety. If somebody's never happy with something on the menu, we do have a lot of variety in an alternate menu. So when somebody comes into the building, their first day there, the dietitian will come into the room, and the dietitian will come over to you and go over the menu with you, going over your food preferences. If there's something you don't like, if there's something you prefer, if there's something you request, we'll make that notation and make sure it gets delivered to you. You have the option. You can eat in your room, or you could head down to our one of our several beautiful dining rooms.
But we don't want them to eat in their room very often. We want them out to mix with people.
Listen, I tell people all the time, why don't you go out and socialize? We've had so many people who have made friends just from the dining room, and it's so nice to see when people get together, they sit together at the same table, and they start a relationship they continue even after people leave Regents Park. They continue that relationship with friends they've made at Regents Park.
I think you just brought up a very good point about leaving. So we have to make sure people realize that Regents Park or Boca Raton does have different levels of care. We have the people who are coming there for therapy, people who've had, whether it's strokes or whether they've had, knee or hip surgery, shoulder surgery, or they just need to have some therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. And then, of course, you have people who really need to live there on a permanent basis and with skilled nursing. So you have, and then, of course, we're starting to have people with cognitive difficulties. And I know that you're taking people like that. So people should know that it's been, for a long time, nursing facilities were nursing facilities, but now they have different areas. And and you can, of course, talk about that, because even as a resident service, those people coming in, they're probably more of a problem. Someone coming in on a short-term basis, they don't want to be there. They want to go home. And you make the difference, don't you?
Absolutely. I tell people when they want to go home that I agree there is no place like home. But Regents Park being a very home-like environment, there's no place alternatively to be. Sometimes I actually think, I'm a young man myself, I am 33 years old, and I picture myself sometimes as an older gentleman living in Regents Park. And it's not a bad picture. I actually, picture the spots I like to sit in outside. I even know which room I would like over there. I can definitely say I'd be happy with the food. and especially the staff over there. So, I don't know if I'll need it, but I know there's a place for me when that comes.
All right, and let's now talk about, I brought up the fact that people have to pretty much give up their cars, but it doesn't mean you have to give up your life, because you do have a van that will take them to all sorts of things. Why don't you talk about that?
Sure. A big concern when people come in is transportation. We actually have a full-time transportation coordinator who will arrange for transportation based on, a resident's needs. And I always assure people in the beginning that our communication is excellent. So, for instance, let's say normally somebody has physical therapy in the morning, but it just so happens they have a doctor's appointment that morning. They have nothing to worry about, because we will communicate to the physical therapy department in advance that you have an appointment on that day and that you will get your therapy at a different time, possibly later that day. So our communication is very good, and we have all different types of transportation. Our main concern is that wherever you go, it's safe. So if you have a family member who can drive you and the doctors determine that it's safe enough for you to go with them, your family member can drive you. If you need some of our transportation, we have a van. Nice guy, Al, drives our van, drives everybody everywhere.
Hi, Al.
And we also arrange and we contract with different transportation agencies. So for whatever you need, we can arrange that transportation.
And there are shows that they like to go to. I mean, you have enough people, so how do you do that?
The shows, well, we have a lot of great entertainment that comes into the building.
I know you do.
Sure.
I've been to some of it. That's very good, yes.
We even have outdoor things. Today, as we speak, I'm looking at the clock right now, we're about to start our gardening club. It's a nice Florida day in the mid-80s over here. Great day for gardening. So we're going to have a bunch of residents who want and have the time to go out and do some gardening today. So we have lots of things. Fishing, outdoor fishing.
Oh, they're fishing right there in
Sure,
the lake.
we have that lake over there. People have caught fish. If you check out our website, regentsparkboca.com, I believe you can see some pictures of some of the things that were caught.
And will they cook it?
Listen, if they want it, if somebody likes fish, why not? Why not? We actually have a few chefs in the building. I don't mean our chefs on staff. I mean residents who are chefs. And they have their own areas in the kitchen and in the activity rooms where they do some of their own cooking.
No kidding. I didn't
Really?
know that. No, that's really nice, because that really keeps them feeling like they have a use, a purpose.
Absolutely.
And so, well, that's really lovely. So if someone wants to go to the mall, then you would arrange for them to go to the mall, maybe
Sure.
to get some friends, and they all go
Absolutely.
together?
One gentleman I'm thinking of right now, he has his grandson's Little League game every Saturday that he goes to.
And you
So-
take him there.
We'll take him there, or
They take him
or
there.
his family will come pick him up. So sure, people go out all the time, as long as it's safe and
And they check out, and you know that they're not there. But so, see, the reason this is important that you come on the radio is because when people go by a lot of these communities, I don't really call them facilities, I call them communities, senior communities in a sense, they have no idea what goes on in there. You see, and that's why tours are very important, that they at least get a feeling of what it is. But you're telling them all this, they're not going to be as fearful.
Absolutely. And like you said, Anita, the best thing to do is to go see for yourself. Wherever you go, take a tour, talk to some of the residents, see the staff, see the rooms for yourself, and see with your own eyes. I really think that's the only way to do it.
Something that you probably are aware of it, but that I have found out is that when someone's in the hospital and the discharge planner talks with them, or the doctor decides, in a sense, where they should go, and and a lot of the times they sending to places that I know that are not as good as Regents Park, and so I say you are in control of where you want to go, absolutely in control, and for your rehab, that's what I'm thinking of. And so that's made a very big difference. They have to ask and say. So I had a friend who was quite sophisticated, and he was on dialysis, and he had gotten pneumonia or something, and his doctor was the medical director of some other place. And I said, you shouldn't go there. And he said, oh, well, he's going to take care of me, and I want to go there, he told me. I said, I think you should rethink it. But by this time, see, he was caught. He was in the hospital, so he couldn't start touring and find out. So he did go there. 2 weeks later, he called me, and he said it was so disappointing. It was so bad. So another time then, something happened, and he wound up at Regents Park. By this time, he was really not in very good shape. But the whole point is, and I always tell that to people, you really are in control of your future, and you're not going to hurt your doctor's feeling. And I don't care if you hurt your doctor's feeling. You have to protect yourself and know that you're going to go to it's a very exclusive place. It's almost like the Ritz. It's really first class. The food's excellent. The people are lovely. The community is beautiful. And another thing, it's right in the heart of Boca Raton. It's very, very close to the mall. And so I think if you do have to leave your home, you might as well go to a place that is first class. And it is.
And like you said, you really have to be educated and educate yourself. There are so many things that we offer, so many services, so many different activities and different amenities, not just for our residents, but for family members as well. Go check out regentsparkboca.com, look on our website, and you would be amazed to see how many different things we feature. It's really incredible. And the only way to take advantage of that is to be aware of it. So it's really important, wherever you decide to go, to do your homework and to know what you're getting into and to know about all the wonderful things that are available to you.
And I'm going to just go ahead with what Noah just said. So you're going to make a phone call for information, and it's 561-483-9282. I'll repeat that. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. What you have to do is have a pencil and a piece of paper when you're listening, and it's 561-483-9282. And as Noah said, you want to go on the web to regentsparkboca.com, regentsparkboca.com. Something that Noah was telling you about was some of the activities for your family members, such as support groups. You know, a lot of people who are the family members are really very insecure about what's going to happen to their family member who's there. And you have social workers, and I know you have support groups that they can go. I mean, you have a cute support group. I think it's about pet therapy, learning.
Sure.
I mean, you do some really wild things over there. But it's really good because as one is having some dementia, there are lots of, you can't go it alone. You just can't. You really need help. You love your family member, and you want to make sure you're doing the right thing for them. Just because you love them, you don't always know what to do. And I think that when you go to Regents Park, they're very well educated. A lot of them have master's degrees, the social workers, the physical therapists, the occupational therapists, the recreational therapists. So make sure when you go somewhere, just because someone will say this is a homey environment, there's 10 people here, it may not be the right thing for you. And staying at home, so it might be fine for some people. You have full-time people there and they're helping you. The nice part now, Noah, from 25 years ago is there's such variety. It's choice. And so you have to be educated, but you have to go and visit and say, is this what I would want, or is that what I would want? And no one says that if you do come there, you don't like it, wherever you go, you can't move. You're not a prisoner.
No, we have people coming quite often, actually, from other facilities who want to come over to Regents Park. And, it's amazing when I tour family members looking for their loved ones who may be at one of our hospitals, one of the local hospitals in the area, looking for a facility for their loved one to recuperate or even to live out the rest of their lives. They come to the facility and they see the staff smiling. They see how we know each other's names, and they see they'll come into the ice cream parlor, have some ice cream, go watch a show. They don't themselves want to check in. So it really is a wonderful place.
We're all exhausted. We love someone to take care of us, right? That's really what's happened here. But you are young. You are in your 30s, and I'm sure you went into this profession with your eyes open, though, because you knew what it was going to be like. But years ago, it just wasn't like this, and you know that. And there were special places where they were very, very knowledgeable, but they were rare, and they cost a lot of money. And now, thank goodness, Medicare does take care of a lot of things, and people have long-term health care insurance, and so it's been a progress. And when someone gets old, it doesn't mean that they have to be shuttered up into a closet. And that's so, there was somebody then when they were young, and they have to be somebody now when they're old. And that's my motto.
It is. And, with the healthcare system, thank God for insurance. There's, opportunities for people have to be educated. I tell people, speaking of Medicare, ANITA, that once somebody has had a 3-day qualifying stay in the hospital, that's when their Medicare A kicks in, and they'll have 20 days covered at 100% on their Medicare. And after day 20, that's when their secondary insurance kicks in. And we go through the process with you. When somebody comes in, somebody from our admissions department will go over all the necessary paperwork with you, answering questions, breaking things down, making everything very, very simple, and telling you what your options are and what you have. We'll make phone calls for you if it's something regarding insurance, if it's phone calls to family members. We really try to hold your hand and make everything easy for you and make it a smooth transition.
I think what you've just said, Noah, is probably almost more important than having the good food and having the entertainment, because there's not, even when I start getting insurance policies, I have to review. It's horrible. And to an older person, that's why there's a lot of confusion. They don't know what they're doing. People come in, if they're a salesperson, and they just believe them. So what you're doing there, and that's a gold star for you to sit with them and to do that. And is that something you do?
I do. That's one of the many things I do. I do that with my associate, Maria Rionda. And whenever I have the opportunity to help out with some admission paperwork or any frequently asked questions regarding admissions or anything related to that, I am always there to help.
Well, I am so glad. I love the article you wrote for people who want to know more about Noah. See his picture. It's on page 14 in the
Thank you.
April issue. And we have certainly had a great radio show, and you'll be able to see him on YouTube. And Noah, thank you. Keep doing the good work.
It's my pleasure and it's my honor to work with the residents and families at Regents Park. Thank you for having me.
Remember to go to Regents Park. Let's see, the actual website is regentsparkboca.com. That's on the website. So thank you. Bye.
Pleasure to be here.